Everyone, it's Emily Fox. Today's video is going to be all about my most anticipated book releases for the rest of 2024. I'm excited. There were surprisingly high amount of books that I'm looking forward to in the upcoming months. I did one earlier this year, but I feel like more have been announced. So I have, I believe, 10, and I'm going to try to order them from the most recent releases to the latest one, so you kind of have an idea of when they're going to be released, and I'm going to put more info on the screen so you can be prepared. So also, I did leave the door open for once, so if you hear noises or see cats everywhere, yeah, there are 3 right now in the room. So the first one I wanted to talk about is The Life Impossible by Matt Haig. I have read a couple of his books, and my favorite one so far has been The Humans, which is technically following an alien, but like it's not alien. It's very accessible. I enjoyed it quite a bit. And this one is about a recently retired math teacher, and she gets this house from a long lost friend on an island, and she goes there. I believe this one is meant to be kind of hopeful. The author tends to balance out books that are about like depression, since he has or is suffering from depression, and also again making them a little bit more hopeful. So this one main character goes there kind of to start a new life. She decides to go on a whim, and I'm hoping I'm going to enjoy this. And like I said, it's coming out, I believe, tomorrow, September 3rd. So tomorrow, based on the date that I'm posting the video. So any second now. I really want to try it because, again, I've read a couple of his books and did enjoy most of them. So there's that. We're going to move on to the next book, and it is Here One Moment by Liane Moriarty. Hear me out. I didn't think I was going to read more by her because I had really enjoyed the first book that I read by her, which was Big Little Lies. I feel like everyone liked it. It became a TV show. I've only watched the first season, and I enjoyed it. So I wanted to try more by her, and everything else that I've read by her, I did not like. But this one, the premise sounds interesting. So maybe I'll wait to see what people that have like advanced reader copies think. But this one said that it was about people that could figure out how they're going to die. So there's a bunch of people on a plane, and this woman is telling them when they're going to die. And it starts happening, basically. So the consequences of that. I need to try it. I need to try it. She really likes to talk about like a group of people, and then there's, something happening. I'm a sucker. I need to try it because of that premise, solely because of it. So this is going to be my make it or break it with her, I think, because like I said, I've only enjoyed the first book that I read by her, but that premise sounded too interesting for me not to give it a shot. So this one is coming out September 10th, so very soon. So as soon as I start seeing some reviews, I'll decide what I do with it, but it sounded good. It sounds good. I feel like you probably are hearing that and be like, okay, I want to try it. So if you do pick it up before me, let me know. I need to know. Then we have An Academy for Liars, which I just received the ARC, so the advanced reader copy. I'm going to try to read this as soon as possible. I have attempted to read The Year of the Witching by the author, and for some reason, some witches books that are more like almost historical fiction, they don't tend to work for me. I don't know why. So I wanted to try something else by her, and this one sounded really interesting. So it's another fantasy book, and this one is also like magical school, which like that tropes definitely tends to work for me usually, so I'm hoping I'm going to enjoy this one. And the main character receives a call from school that she has been accepted, that they want her to go, and she has a power of persuasion. And frankly, that was all I needed to know. And this one is coming out September 17th. So I'm going to try to read it as soon as possible, but like it's a little bit last second, so I'm going to try before the end of the year for sure, but that sounded really interesting, so I thought I would try again from the author. From the same author that wrote the Thursday Murder Club series, we have We Solve Murders, and I don't know if it's related because it sounds kind of similar with that title. It says it's a brand new series, but it kind of sounds similar a little bit to the other one because, again, solving murders. And you're following a duo of detective. I believe one of them is retired and a little bit older, and the other one is a younger, and she works as a private security officer, but they ended up teaming up to try and solve murders. So that's why I'm saying it kind of gives a little bit similar vibe as the other one, since the other one was a bunch of people that are like in their 70s, 80s trying to solve murders. So I'm hoping I'm going to enjoy it, and that other series by him is so popular. I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to pick it up. So again, I will be looking forward to all the reviews, and this one is coming out September 17th, so like any day. So another good mystery thrillers to pick up if you're looking for something recent, and I will be impatiently waiting for reviews. If we continue in the right order, the next book that is being released that I want to read is The Furry of the God. This is technically the 3rd book in this series, and I've only read the first one, but I really want to read the second one, so we're going to allow it. It is Viking inspired, which I didn't expect it to work for me, but it did. That world is really, really intense. I feel like I don't understand how people make it to adult The ancient gods have, like, mostly disappeared, but they're, like, super giant. You can see it on the covers of, like, all the books. And this one, you have the tiny, tiny boat next to this monster. And I really enjoyed the ending of that first book. So yeah, I do have book 2 literally on here. I want to read it. It will happen. So I thought I would give a shout out to book 3. Also, before I forget, actually, at the end of October, this book is coming out again. Blood Over Bright Haven. This is my best book of last year. I read it last year because it was self-published and then it was picked up by a publisher. I'm assuming there's been a little bit of editing and it's coming out again with this gorgeous cover, which I don't have. I'm very sad about it, but I'm trying not to just hoard books for the sake of it. I know some people love having a bunch of different editions. I don't, so I probably won't buy it, but I love this book. Like I said, made it to my best book. It is a high fantasy standalone. The author is really good at doing that. In this one main character, you're following her, and she's the first woman to be accepted in this academy. Like 200 years, she ended up passing the test. So it's very like Dark Academia vibes a little bit. Magical school, not really, but kind of. She's like doing some research around magic. So that's kind of what the book is about. But the first chapter, the intro, you're following someone different, and the main character is part of the remnant of this tribe, and they're making a run for it, trying to survive. And like first chapter sucks you into the book. So if you're in a reading slump, you need to check out this book. Again, it was my best book of last year. It's fantastic. It's not super popular yet, but can guarantee you it will be. It is just fantastic. Let's continue the trend of me talking about series I'm not caught up to, but we have the Lotus Empire, which is the third book in the Burning Kingdom series. I read book 1, is it earlier this year? Really enjoyed it. I fully want to continue. I think it might have been last year. I'm really good at starting series, but the fact that it's completed will make me want to read it. I really hate waiting between books. This is high fantasy series, so I feel like describing it is always so complicated, but you follow multiple point of views. One of them, this woman who ends up having to work, kind of servant to this queen who has been hidden away against her will, and she has a strange past. You don't really know. Magic seems to be involved. And there's this disease also affecting people. Magic is involved. A lot of really interesting, complex female character, a little bit of sapphic romance. And the first book ended pretty strongly. So once again, I really want to continue. I've just been really overwhelmed with series, but maybe I'm going to have to make it a challenge again in 2025. I probably should. I decided not to do it this year, and I should have because it's not been going well. Now that it's completed, I'll be able to actually binge read the whole thing. I feel like I need to do that more. Do you read series back to back? I feel like I used to only do that, but ever since Booktube, I just get sucked into reading so many and I don't finish enough of them. So 2025. Speaking of which, we have the 5th book in the Stormlight Archive series by Brandon Sanderson that is coming out December 6th. And it's going to be called Wind and Truth. If I'm being completely honest, Oathbringer, that I'm currently reading, is the 3rd book in this series. It took me 2 years to get around to picking it up, and it is part of my pile of shame at the moment. I'm halfway through, and I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's just because I'm embracing fall and reading a bunch of mystery thrillers. I don't know. I will be finishing it before the end of the year, and I'll be able to continue. And again, technically that series is going to be a 10-book series, but it's divided in 2. So it's completed after this one, the first part, so I'll be able to actually just binge read the whole thing. There are giant books. It is high fantasy. I wouldn't even know how to describe this book. Again, magic system is incredibly interesting. You have these big storms that are happening, and people capture some of the power in like jewels. You have multiple point of views. You have someone that is studying. You have someone that is essentially slave/soldier. You have someone that is the king. You have a lot going on. Giant wars. There's just so much. There's just so much. You can't describe it, but this is by far his best work so far. At least I've read the first 2 books and they were fantastic. And I'm hopeful one day I'll finish book 3 and enjoy it too. But I'm happy that the 5th book is going to be out because, again, I can binge read them. I know it's technically better to read books that just came out from authors to support them, but sometimes, especially if, Brandon Sanderson, it doesn't really matter if I'm reading his books right away. But I almost feel better waiting until they're completed so I can just read them, because when you wait in the middle of like 50 series, it just gets overwhelming. I think this is where I'm at, but I feel like the more I talk about it, the more I know I have to do that next year. So this was my list of 8 books that are coming out in the upcoming weeks. I'm looking forward to reading all the reviews So as you can see, a little bit of everything for my most anticipated, like 8 most anticipated book releases for the rest of 2024. Quite a few series that I want to catch up to, but they will be completed now. And then a few authors that I want to try more by them because I've enjoyed them, and then some that I want to give a second or last shot depending on how it goes. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts. Are these books added to your TBR? Are there any other ones that you think we should check out that are coming out soon? Let me know if there are any of these that you really want me to try and read as soon as they come out. I'll let you know. And yeah, thumbs up, subscribe. I'll put more videos on the screen that I recommend you check out, including my TBR for the upcoming ones, so my fall TBR. And I also did a reading vlog. I'm currently doing a challenge where I'm trying to read mystery thriller horror books, trying to find one 5-star. One for the end of the year, and I will see you next one. Bye.